Mame fa say ma PENDREAM TV. PENDREAM TV there osia dem yopo.
Alan, my uncle, in terms of the cocoa sector, say can't be a one managing cocoa sector ni and also be a one cocoa sector in say a si forma. Na ye can't buy a baby more qua, then not done Kwakufado abain. Because in the year 2016, answer ye be few on major hard mama on what was the metric tons of cocoa Nagana produce us at that time. And even the more we produce us at that time, the more money we're making for the country. And Alaska, as at the time, another done Kwakufado every few the 800,000 and 840 something metric tons in 2016 that we were producing, which was somewhere at one point it hit 1 million metric tons.
That's right.
As I speak to you, in 2025, a year baby take you over no. The 2023-2024 air cocoa do you know the metric ton that Nana Donko Akufo-Addo and his government was producing? That is 424,000
from almost 1 million.
That was what they were producing.
Very useless government.
So such a government, I buy beef so now all the cocoa, all the fertilizer, Emma for free. I buy budget fertilizer no, I can say fertilizer no, or ton. They go any app in the houses of municipal chief executives and that. You need here. I buy an I can want some more 2 more go abonte so. I almost I buy a tissue. I am your monster and send for that. I buy we and an administrative expenses pay. I had 3 billion Ghana cedis.
Hey,
yen top paper, yen show we, yen we 3 billion Ghana cedis.
Ye baba meeting and I am
a kaya broody
3 billion.
3 billion Ghana cedis. Yes, no. Omunya hue. Such people, enya one day, enya nimdie, eniwo, eniomu, oniomoso. I'm real said, Omuye ni was ene, omomenya kukudro. Na onu chief executive officer. Komle Japan, you have the tape here. Everybody good as a what's your and will collapse cocoa, everything, cocoa board. And the way now, I 2 1 could do BHS or campaign. Kona drink cocoa sector, no nation said busy, every cocoa sector managing. Is that the same government? Komle Japan and Disiana.
That's right.
And what time did he make such statement? That was in 2020. I read 2020. If I remember, that was 2020.
That was 2023.
2023. I know that's a statement, you know. Now 2023, 2024, any day woman says, what is the difference? Now today, this same chief executive officer, and then the back, and now, and more 2 ways room, and more car one sem. The bad day and a conference in what prevented us? What prevented Randiabi as a chief executive officer for putting a mess of cocoa board, whatever it is? Per who Randiabe is, and he knew and his understanding of issues, you know, he knew very well the mess
that they have created.
They have created.
And na all cover.
Who was he managing? Who was he managing? And then look at that, what they are doing to him. The very people, I will not say he was seeking to cover them, but per what has been put out, that is how it looks like.
But me who are around the one say, can I do you say a problem near my baba too? Mean solve problem, no.
Is it so? You
exactly. But first and foremost, let us identify the problem.
Yes.
A Germany a Ghana for dia. So my Ghana for who near Equaso.
That is it.
So what was that? Anytime about say the assemble, ye de pan
that is it.
Can you tell
because I'm will paint a certain picture. And the Magana for it's at the end of the day, no kono go so no mu a e ba be ye na yakayaka dia. Onu edika about the bonnet chairman Sunday that. It's a baby we are like na whatever na you win. Now one and see you ascend you no na okoko chobi e ba be twe na so. That's clearly what is happening because if not that, what is the offense of government? Or say, dear, we try to go on, go forward, no, me. The matter na as per the time as I born back from no, make you ka amount.
That's right.
And you can now abandon any day as a farmer. Who can now abandon any day? Also 50,000 tons na also farmer metal. What they say, by year call any no, per the price reduction assistance today, no, and no mean to me in Casa Meto. Etia old price na eden e di amount. Inti e ko na meto ade e won say say na me de meet amount. Apart from so any day.
Enti a cocoa board any mo communicators ni bi nso na ntumi nkyere asem no mu yie. De wo ni say dia aban abaye no de wato so bo na wato so da ene ne wato no. Because we on toy.
Baby.
Ne wato no eno say sa price ni de
Megina.
But ya tesu a man say gwa so. Ya tesu ewo so no. I was say ya tesu.
That is all.
It do say aban ate ukoko so. Koko be na de akwa wato. So that's right.
And so what is the issue? Issue na nene dia hin. Na okwabra na nya ho afaka. Afa V8. E dey akwa akonkrase. The very people you do not care for, you do not care about. When they were crying and when nya ho abo position. Enye sika. E kwakwo show mu kutupa. Now so we also for cocoa farmers no nya means romo.
That's right.
What do I say? And who are you trying to incite? And what are you inciting the people over? Over what? Abai na ono no and manage the situation no. Ono no and just scam bi aba and wafa akwakwo she baby. Say so me yiska gumbontin. Obi amato no koko wo me hono bi amintu aba beji usika at the old price as it used to be.
That's right.
So what is the problem? So what are they crying over? You see, these stars are say going into 2028, you know, this is the kind of politics people are going to play. Because it's not about what is at stake. It's not about the facts on the ground. It's about the impression, the opinion that they are going to create to sell out to the people. And then yes, man to bill boss. What I say? Now, Coco na yema 2,554 no. The difference between here and Cote d'Ivoire there no how many 300. What I say? Meanwhile, here there no ya mo makade ye gusu mo mo.
Na Cote d'Ivoire ya mo mo.
Awo mo hwe.
Ahoto FM 92.
I don't know my Coco no esumbo sonko. Awodwa man so. What I say? So what is the difference? And radio stations are playing recordings of Cote d'Ivoire. I clearly show say look what is going on. Enye bibia His Excellency John Dramani Mahama and abon is slim and person of cocoa farmers and on the about to job. But it's something that is all over.
But you see, Alan, I understand the pain and frustration, but the fact still remains, as Ivan rightly said, you know, it is someone sleeping on the job.
That is it.
And moko every institution, is it when you are there, mobeka. And one thing I like about the NDC is that when issue comes, they don't massage. And you'll be a Juma, you have fun to an hoka. In the first place, who quite now this issue say they are doing rollover. I deal with everybody done one can. Why you saying it now?
1 year. Over 1 year. And that's almost about 1 year because they were not appointed as at the same time we came to office.
That's right.
Okay, so you cannot say exactly 1 year. I hope you no sorry if you so. Now we use $48 million. Say if I go to Okosa be Alaska. But whatever they are telling her, yes, they jago ejeto hono. Efe Japan ni yo nyina no. Na koko board, na nko musika. Ene mo ba mo be sori afi so na koko board edeka. Enso mo se mo ntibida. Ye na ebe bobo so.
Enti eno no ebribe na wo se mo ka kire Ghana for. Ene ya mo kan. Mo nyi dis problem iba enti na mo ka.
Na ti o. Ense hu bi asa branch no na me kura se ne ka ne say. Na ye kai aye jato hono mo. E go dis digete lo na ye ntimi ntwia ho ka ye jato hono mo no. Hina no mba se be twa sa aka ni se ya ba na asa ba beto sa aka na. Ti na se mo kai o.
That's right.
O se bu digete lo na ye kokoji ye apenso no. A kai ye brugu hono mo no. A ye sorry fie konwa no so no. Se na ya ba na asa ba beto kan ni bioma. I don't think yesu. So it means that there's a debt. But when most of the communicators are talking, say, yeah, I'm going to be on to one more.
Oh, no, but I said the tennis. Oh, never call of the bluff, and say, must start to prosecute you.
And that is all. Oh, that is all. And that, see, one easy answer me. Sign it in Nana when one. Easy sign and one. All the mess that went on in ECG. It's the very people who are the actors of corruption in ECG, they are still there, they are making noise. They are still there, they are making noise. And other sectors. And so at the end of the day, no, ubet na hono na de ense emfata subo ense emfata say was the board no here is as one ba be but this is the first time in the history of this country where there's a crisis of this nature and the very people who are involved are speaking their mind to tell Ghanaians
that's right.
We know what is going on. Don't come and throw dust into our eyes because we know what is going on. If not for anything, we have 60% of the cocoa farmers speaking for government saying that we know what is going on. What they are saying. So, if today the NPP want to make political capital out of this, it's a disgrace to them. They should look for a better option. But me, I don't see this one as an option they should look at in terms of they trying to get a government. Because at the end of the day, you know, Massa, if you want to find a better way to criticize this government, for which you've had none, because when it comes to issues of corruption, you have none. Today, Musa Dankwa is telling us, say, when we talk about corruption, corruption has left the seat of the presidency. It's right. Nowhere closer to the seat of the presidency as used to be the case. And it has left the seat of presidency. It has far gone from the seat of the president. Is it not a credit to the president? And under your tenure, corruption was seated right at the presidency.
So no president in that.
And so all these things are indicators of the good performance of His Excellency John Dramani. So if you want to look for something to stand on to criticize government, this is not the option because people who are involved are speaking for themselves.
But I'll say, Alan the Graf Consa, a Greater Accra Regional Communication Team member, double as Ashama Constituency Secretary of the NDC. Time check. 20 minutes into 4 p.m. Still live on your radio. Meeting the Emmanuel Kwesi Martidora from Alaska, the Donda Commander, with a commanding voice. Frimpon Natural Herbal Clinic. Suya Yadia Hahama Nesayari. The Akacha Ghana for Nina say, and Pringameno say ya. Bomading Sir Ode Oyari Nina Babadang Yang. Chirasam say Yendi Diabani Fanny Hahano and Sayari. And you no pair and now dear for etumako quibritrum upper diahini lumina. Actually, Musuno abe for Quangso. Na yabo your home so bibiara abejan the suchefa. I say Yaria bia your friend Yaria Yadia by a catcheno. Your baba modding say bibiabe koyi. Say yambuye, say ye city Yaria hepatitis B, say ye frumu chrome and I your frumu kukra, say ye prostrate. From Pohaba Natural Clinic, see a better than 30 amount. Or since a winning pie boy, yes, your bobby pa, your boy, your rebia or the baba, your one quancher the mount. Oben we are Ashama Kataman so Kube Chrono 2. Frame was 0244 939 0244 939 458 and a 0542 644 220. Na any Frimpon Natural Herbal Clinic at Enkobo. Maminko Ivan Che Innocent Akache. Na Ivan Ebemaye say CJ reject petition for EC bosses and OSP removal. Na best name microfinance Ebema Osika. Me bato pesika tutu die edi ashawe dwuma mu a 0591 694706 0591 694704 0591 694704 and a 0557 594 073. Not any best name microfinance and Enkomo. Ivan.
Yeah, Alaska.
Chief Justice with 2 petitions not to actually. As if you knew.
Yeah, the kind of things that say about who say Okoko border. Board of directors, board members.
That's right.
Also, more tenacia
allowance
and as for more say more for go in solidarity with happiness, and I think it makes sense because
I stand with Coco board.
Exactly, just to make people see. Say it's sad. Say you create problem and you have to do some of these things to make it look like at least you've done something wrong. You need to compensate for that. But I think in line with your friends, good governance principles, in solidarity with the challenger, because the only thing a farmer need disappointed. Alaska, 92.3. I am put value on it. Positive expectation, or expectation that is rational, and Ochina say everything in place, nipa now putting everything on it, hoping that things, and then it turns out to be something different. You may not be blamed, but the farmer has every legitimate ground to be disappointed, and it is in that spirit, and I think that some of these things, you know, are good just to ensure you bet me, but there be a makasi near my as a country. You see, problem bana wujina problem no now yes some of the no matter the sacrifice that you make, people will not appreciate. You know that.
Very well.
So you need to take bold corrective measures, very radical. My system of governance and yet monfamanya mena you
Very ruthless.
You will be call heaven. One is up heaven be a call Abraham as so.
Also nyankopon kra se na odio
now nipa enye serious. Asase na obatena so a o evidence we betimi atena so 90 years, 100 years and also on pen na wo baby abeko.
I hope ni mo.
Baby ada winnim ho. You see, and even ya catch nyankopon kra se binyame nim nyansa. Na anti se nyame pese nyire nko heaven, anti wa more straight and to yangu heaven. That is the reason why he brought us here. Yes, you know I mean. Once say you to yangu heaven, sanka there is no need about betena. But we came here for a purpose. The purpose is say be good to one another. Now, my catch say heaven a consequential outcome.
That's right.
So if it exists, abrabona abon a whole outcome there de ko. Now you ensure that the tenants say me bibi as me de ko heaven. No, abrabona you need to first play over say bobrano play the life.
Okay.
So the life from the outcome will determine where you go. Yes, so don't fixate on where you're going. Fixate on abrabona wobor na boni ye. You go to the heaven. Yeah, Christopher, we believe in that. You understand? But
where the Ebonua concepts.
And I said Nipanduna Nimyans, and that was why we use aqua winning or none and I say nowhere about a fan say or critia. Then Nipandas and the idea the children genedi. It show how narrow-minded majority of the people are here because they are fixated on those spiritual things, but the physical part. I remember elevate people, help others. Now you live good. Now outcome no, heaven no. We are rather focusing on okay Ghana and it's on tone Japan non ko heaven ni nyina be ma wako.
We work time I say akobi no say okọ konfo bi ho say okwa kohwe ni shebrim na oni ho mfa no okọ na say konfo no ko hospital.
We be a nyansafo a sensible. So Alaska, I think say sana etie the trust and confidence these people over the years in the establishment called government, the government will look after the collective interest of everybody. No, Alaska say nipa no perceive we say minority. Now buying the say other boy minority former. People will arm themselves to the teeth and they will rebel against the system. And their rebellion isn't about young war. Always they adopt asymmetric approach. That is the guerrilla warfare approach. And you know, or no majority to asana na sefo nyina wada no obabi pie so ohwe no wa kind of train you hwe na wu no okọ
obeye de be count.
Yes, that is what they do. So saane okọ Sudan the same thing. Now Alaska ube trace saane ma we nyina no now it has something to do with electoral misunderstanding, electoral violence, electoral biases, lack of neutrality on the part of the EC ne na sefo no onipa ne yakoto wa na esisiri na de na onye okoka soja ni babono okoka police ni babono ntide na obeye. All that they need to do is to arm themselves and also fight the system. And na aboabo no ya ba beduru ha say that is the point anka Jemensa ne boss my side dey yeko. Alaska, elections in this country became almost like a violent fanfare. Na every election be nipa bewu because people didn't believe or trust the electoral commissioner then in for Techiman then they see ye to aba abrantia se me kohwe elections the buo for so wafa boy to nipa ye training no soja ne police ni a ya kira no how to use your mind brain in that se for no or say obi to bro nti onu di tu ehia no na wo sabe ummo dama
but nanado time o ma ye bi.
Yes, Alaska obi to bro a ye di tu ehia no they shot and killed people in Techiman besi ne akoko kwa in prosecute no. And unse ye mind be we have short memories.
Exactly.
And you say no Sanya mananam say aye past na no na me ka kire obi say Burkina Faso issues na si no. Say o ma me nka ho na o papa nka ho na o mo ka wote ne say ya nanse say me wa chiri.
That's right.
Na da ye be chi o ma me ati ni ti no. Sada na ye ka you feel the pain and you speak it in a language remember I'm for who say I feel the what pain I say no we can lucky Dube kan no or see that the man in the long black coat obebo door no na be say armed robbery real because you read it in the newspaper, you see it in the news. Oh, you say I'm robber ko attack you see it like a story. But they are the man in the long black coat. Obebo door no. Obebo ukro to general for Wajapade nyina brand. That day you will appreciate say you can say kromfo na am robber. Obeti ase. Sana sa nema wetie. Electoral Commission na about why ekoto ye. Na de bia meka say enye bawumia na ntentem na ba na so say wa concede. Because internal we no moye no ware nti wage atoma do the Sunday no who tension na kuku okroma say
serious
because na NDC for ayo mo de awie da NPP for awie Electoral Commission one region kwa na mo nyamfa mom because omonya hint say aban na lusu enti no omo backbone na bubu enti no yes ye nya hwe and her justification was that Oko Electoral Commission na macho man akọ BCG da ben ye to aba okro macho man ko BCG ya enti Electoral Commission enti transmit election way. It took about 3 days as an Electoral Commission the figures about
na nipa na woji amano no so me must patrol in the town.
That is why I say on that particular scale Baumia did very well, and I commended him on this particular platform because a Electoral Commission can be a debisiru nim. About 2020, ebina see ya among for the quarter 10 electoral results. Your friends saying MPs, the NDC for winning your can area. Omudu metro man ko hoko 10 vote today.
Because no who is was soldier for
yes, so Alaska. Your friends say Jemensa ya mamboye for. The mere fact is the Electoral Commission I'm finding anything doesn't change anything. Isn't it a fact? Say a weekend they go into the election. I have 3 constituencies in the the voter region were denied representation in parliament for 4 good years. That is a crime against constitutionality. That is a crime against democracy. Nothing happened.
So you and I, you name the content of the petition. Oh,
it was part of it. It was also part of an petition. Petition was not made public.
That's right.
And America petition in the Bible. Me privy to content of petition. But I'm privy to the criminal dealings and the undertakings of these people. Criminal omissions and commissions. Criminal commissions and omissions. And I say, 92.3. Alaska, that is a cardinal sin against constitutionality.
That's right.
To deny people 3 constituencies representation for 3 good years. All because they wanted your friends Amewu to win that particular seat. And indeed he won. And the fact of the matter is the sins of J. Mensa cannot be overshadowed. Electoral Commission APIJ again see Obia nim say oye known party person in the NPP Oko test on various universities he has been a patron.
That's right.
It's all over the place. Akufuado Kotam no be an Electoral Commissioner your friend saying one of the IT directors are not to on massage obetimi about the potency to massage figures and then as for them. Akwama Chomo Yamokofano from University of Ghana thinking say he was bringing intelligence to bear because as a lecturer ono kwa de na san ono de kura de baller
na tete
obiena no kasa as sesia na yekotwe yediri firi kwa yemba fie
92.3
oh yes
Bossman Asad.
Alaska kasa boom 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 boom. You know the say your friend say NDC a threat to Ghana's democracy. No be a referee na NDC no contest election be a threat to Ghana democracy. Oh no, will you ever do anything for your threat to come to power? It was a resounding victory that John Mahama had. And the Electoral Commission yeshi fa ho enye. And anything na ho mo enu no mo bubu no musisi wono. Sa tete no, sa kwa we da so Ghana for sika. Asema ba Ghana for cannot them radio so can kura sekasa.
That's right.
Catch the Ghana for say ababa akona ye de to ye no kwa na enuane your friends amoa ewo register so ye de to aba. So apart from unprofessionalism no they demonstrated clearly say they were a breed of uncultured individuals who should not come anywhere close to an entity, a sacred one like Electoral Commission. Akwawe papa one friend is a former Afarijan. A level and legacy at all. They didn't deserve it. So yes, your friends, I mean the content of the petition. All that I can say is I am disappointed. But Chief Justice Xavier knows why in a Juma, because you base your decision based on the evidence and Niyama or Modi Abreu. You evaluate it to establish credence as to whether say enough grounds has been provided for subsequent investigation as a former. I can't fault him, but my disappointment is mine because of petition. It doesn't matter say bag money is you and the only thing you quite near attain because Jen Menson and the boss man sorry ayobia sa petition real money you more obi no better better kroma yedede
MPP grab a fast to say they must go
Alaska obi no better yedede baya no asa ajo yan la mo na ba the evil in them that rise a tipping point we are hope bia na yeye what I say. So I think the Ghana ni bia our petition bia against Electoral Commission bia me show nkuran submit it.
Advocate
they should submit it.
Advocacy. Because
they don't deserve to be there. Apart from lack of professionalism, that uncultured behavior and the way they speak to people in a midst of challenges, the way they talk, and so for them, and send the money via as a leading entity called Electoral Commission. And that entity is very sensitive. And Chebia, when Alaska a rebel leader, Timuram. Yes. Now you have a worse wrong for because you are at war with the state. Or you think that the state can no longer protect you, the state can no longer be fair to you. The only way is to adopt their guerrilla warfare tactics. And to be a professor no creativity on only the guerrilla army against the state. Unsa waniswa wine. Uko Sudana, Nippon who almost a rebel no. Some were once medical doctors.
Exactly.
Some were lecturers. Some were professors, some were university graduates or when your first class then as a former who should be working in high profile places. But wajia to say my life we me a rebel. Why? Because the system was so unfair and Sanyama we now buy as a result of electoral malfeasances. Alaska.
Jen Master to make culture generously drink at yes, Argentina or Casa Nursery.
Alaska. Yes, IPAC has always been my culture a dialogue platform where political parties Georgia.
That's right.
And yet platformer. Yeah, the caution running as a phone, but you need Nippon running institution, how sensitive it is, yen try see a bit me near my yena. Alaska, we are not IPAC, I dine about for platform. And I across a toy parties in jokers, typical jokers, certified jokers. Oka chance and the political party on for 10 people crying a chimra in the beat. These jokers were at the IPAC making decision here to aba. Because these toy parties were being financed by the so-called establishment. 7 billion numbers. So IPAC na a year arena where discussions will take place, where consensus will be built, and we are now electioneering platform where toy parties being led by jokers were allowed to make critical decisions to waive your friends saying the options are other bigger parties with big following. Look at the tug of war between the EC and the NDC at the time. I saw bad and a crack. So how to navigate a challenge now Alaska consensus platform so some sort of a reconciliation platform how much more any other means how amateur these people are and I make us say never tone it down. There is no election in the offing. And the pressure on the Electoral Commission has gone down, and suddenly we've all forgotten about the ills and the crimes. But the people are more shallow. This is the time for them to rise and write a petition. Or more ankasa, the chiefs, I'm urging them to write a petition to your friend is saying to the president, demanding the removal of this woman because of what she did. Because damage, who quantify
That's right.
Well, to be denied a representation for 4 good years. Wouldn't then combat me a benefit?
Wouldn't sir, Supreme Court after some was several in the term we answer almost say he shouldn't be calling himself former member of parliament.
So that tells you, say, what happened was unconstitutionality.
Exactly.
Now, say, your friend saying Supreme Court, there was almost a useless thing at the time.
That's Supreme. And
yeah. It was almost a useless thing because Ghana for didn't have trust. Now, Alaska state institution, that's a Ghana for withdraw or more trust and confidence. We see where they. Across the bosom.
Obi prefers Obebudia change.
Alaska, yet government it was here. It's a Ghana for withdraw or more trust and confidence. It becomes useless. As you walk. Right. Sana any state institution be at here. So that's why I've always been advocating that there is the need for us to build trust and confidence. So we are once again Ghana need benya hoto so state institution mo court to me na se for na sabe ya now no Supreme Court the ruling by ya ruling no go tia aban mo reinstate we. You see people were jubilating.
That's right.
Let me say this is the what you get from the advocacy and the insistence some of us were making, say the judicial should be fair. Somebody ruling by na fair. I don't care who it benefits. Right. I know that the ruling went against government. Obviously they were going to leave. Then people was going to leave. But these jokers were celebrating because the court has ruled in their favor. After calling the court a kangaroo court.
I see democracy, rule of law now a win.
Yo, say papa in the corner, my rule of law. These are nonsense. Alaska. So for me, some of us will continue to do what we do. Champion said, your friend is saying the infrastructure of liberty and our democracy will be sustained, will be guaranteed. Sabaya, a bit in your future, the average and the ordinary Ghanaian, Alaska, me how I say, you better sorry, not the wide gap between Ghana for no has been closed up so that the average Ghanaian will not have to rely on no, everybody, there are certain basic needs. Once we any part that's you should be able to take care of those things. You understand? Right. You should be able to pay your medical bills. And that's, unless Jefferson and Sanawa Frobi, what I say, that will give you that some certain sense of respect, dignity. Now let's come on now Frobi now or it kills the man in you. Exactly. I thought I know who be so before there. When you see na your soul becomes way because you look at your age, making what the 35, 40 years. Now you can be sick. It kills everything in you as a man. What I say, that is the confidence that must return to the average and ordinary Ghanaian. And the only way to do that is to ensure say we create the necessary systems.
That was Ivan J. Innocent.
Whenever I say PENDREAM TV, PENDREAM TV, dear, I see them, you po.